I parked my old pickup a few blocks away from the church, trying to blend in with the other cars and the sea of guests. My heart thudded in my chest like a drum I couldn't control. There she was, Valerie, my ex-wife, walking down the aisle with that perfect smile, the dress clinging in all the right places, the man I thought I'd lost for good, Preston, at her side. 2 years. 2 long, brutal years of lies. Of pretending to survive while my life was being shredded in ways I didn't even see coming. And yet, here I was, holding a USB in my pocket, burning with everything she had done. A single recording that could undo her carefully constructed world. I took a deep breath, trying to steady the storm inside me. This ends the night, I whispered, almost to myself. I could feel the weight of every betrayal, every unfair court ruling, every stolen moment with my son. The kind of anger that simmered for years was now ready to boil over. I stepped closer to the church doors, watching the guests take their seats. My thumb grazed a USB, a small metallic spark of hope. One recording, one shot. That's all it would take to reveal the truth. But first, I had to wait, blend in, and make sure every move I made was precise. One false step, and it all falls apart. And as the organ began to play, I knew, tonight, everything changes. I remember the life I had before the divorce like it was yesterday. My auto repair shop smelled of grease, engine oil, and dreams I didn't even know were slipping through my fingers. My son, Tommy, would sit in the corner with a comic book, occasionally helping me hand over tools or wipe the sweat off my brow. Valerie and I, we weren't perfect. Far from it. But there was laughter, a routine that made the chaos of life manageable. She had her quirks, I had mine, but I thought we were a team. I worked late nights, weekends, skipped my own birthday dinners to pay the bills, to give Tommy a stable home. And I thought she appreciated it. Looking back now, I realized the cracks were already there. Small lies, half-truths, a smile hiding a plan I'd never suspect. But I didn't see it then. I saw the family, the life, the love, and I fought for it, fought for her, fought for Tommy. But love isn't always enough when deceit is involved. That's when it all began to fall apart. Like a car engine, I couldn't fix no matter how many times I opened the hood. The lies started small. Missing receipts, late-night phone calls she swore were from work, little manipulations that made me question my own memory. I thought I was imagining things. I told myself I was paranoid. But the truth? I was just finally noticing the cracks that had been growing for months. She isolated me, made me doubt my instincts, and slowly, ever so subtly, built a world around her that didn't include me. I was a husband, the father, the man who paid the bills, but she was the one pulling the strings behind the curtain. Every lie piled on top of another, a tower I didn't know would collapse until the police showed up. And that's when the illusion of our life shattered completely. I had just finished closing up the shop when the sirens arrived, flashing lights slicing to the warm afternoon. 2 officers stepped out, badges in hand, faces unreadable. "Mr. Dennis Cole?" one of them asked. Before I could answer, they began listing allegations that felt like a punch to the gut. Valerie had filed a report, a fabricated story, a twisting of fact that made me look like a criminal, like the villain in the life I'd built. Everything unraveled in that moment. My shop, my reputation, my family, all of it crumbling like sand slipping through my fingers. Tommy's face flashed in my mind. How could I explain this to him? How could I fight when the world had already started to believe her lies? And yet, somewhere deep inside, a flicker of defiance sparked. I wasn't done, not by a long shot. The courtroom was cold, sterile, a theater where I was cast as the antagonist. Valerie's lawyers were polished, prepared, and merciless. They presented evidence, twisted conversations, manipulated documents, all designed to paint me as reckless, negligent, unworthy of custody, unworthy of respect. I watched as the judge nodded, the spectators murmured, and my own voice felt powerless to pierce the facade she had built. Every lie she told was meticulously crafted, every accusation timed to perfection. And Tommy, I hadn't seen him in weeks. My heart ached with a longing I couldn't voice, my reputation hanging by a thread. Every day was a reminder that truth alone doesn't always win. Sometimes You have to make people see it for themselves. Chapter 6, Life in Limbo. Those months were a haze. My business collapsed under the weight of scandal. Friends disappeared. Strangers whispered. Tommy's visits became rare, guarded. I walked the streets in a fog of humiliation, wondering how quickly life could turn on a person. I learned to survive in the shadows, to pick up the pieces of a life that once felt secure. Bills piled up. My apartment felt smaller, the laughter of my son replaced by silence. But anger, bitter and cold, grew inside me, fueling every late night and sleepless morning. And that anger, it became a plan. Chapter 7, the plan. I started digging, retracing every conversation, every promise, every slip Valerie had made over the years. And then, finally, I found it, her true intentions. Every lie, every manipulation, every cruel word. It was all documented in moments she thought I wouldn't notice. I began secretly recording her confessions, captured her voice when she thought no one was listening. Every word, every laugh at my expense, every plot she laid bare, all went onto that USB. The plan was simple, precise, and when it was executed, it would be unstoppable. But timing was everything. One misstep, and everything would vanish. Chapter 8, the wedding day. I arrived early, hidden in plain sight, the USB burning in my pocket. My mother sat in the front row, unsuspecting. Valerie was radiant, a queen in her domain, oblivious to the storm about to hit. Every laugh she shared, every kiss, every whispered promise to Preston. It only made my resolve stronger. I handed the USB to my mother discreetly, her eyes widening as she understood what she was holding. The ceremony continued, oblivious to the truth about to be unleashed. My heart pounded, anticipation and dread swirling together. Tonight, the world would see what I had endured, and more importantly, they would see who Valerie truly was. The organ paused. I watched as my mother connected the USB to the main speaker system. Valerie's voice echoed through the hall, calm at first, then unraveling as her own words revealed the lies, the schemes, the manipulations she had orchestrated. Gasps filled the air. Preston's jaw dropped. Guests whispered. Some laughed nervously. Others shocked. Chaos erupted. Valerie's perfect facade crumbled in seconds, exposing her to everyone who had once believed her. And in that moment, the scales of justice shifted. I watched, silent but victorious, as the truth finally took center stage. In the weeks that followed, life slowly found its rhythm again. Custody was restored. Valerie faced consequences for her actions. And Tommy, seeing him smile again, knowing he was safe, made every sleepless night, every moment of despair worth it. I rebuilt my shop, my life, my dignity. Each day was a reminder that justice, though delayed, can be found. I learned to trust my instincts again, to value truth over appearances, to protect the people I love. Life wasn't perfect, but it was mine, and that was enough. Sitting in the quiet of my repaired shop, I think back on everything. The lies, the betrayal, the 2-year storm. I realize now that truth is a weapon and a shield, but patience and perseverance are just as powerful. Life will knock you down. People will lie. And sometimes the world will seem against you. But if you hold on, document, observe, and act with clarity, justice finds a way. For anyone listening, remember this. Your voice matters. Your truth matters. And no matter how long it takes, standing firm in it can change everything.